searching for brands, and not only that, but manufacturer contact details are easier than I've ever seen before in any piece of software. So I was really excited to showcase this with Shawn, and nobody's better to explain it than Shawn, but I'm definitely going to be throwing my 2 cents in the ring every so often and asking some of the trickier questions to play interviewee. And Shawn, have you sent this live on Facebook already?
I'm posting it right into the group right now.
All right, cool. If you're just joining us on Facebook, we're going to be taking a look into Shawn's new sourcing secret tool, and I'll share any replays of this over on my wall as well as that we can get later on, if that's cool. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And Shawn, how would you like to do this? Would you like to give a little introduction on the software?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, obviously. And obviously, tactical arbitrage was just was an amazing piece of software, and I really was, truthfully sad that you couldn't apply those same ideas. Even before tactical arbitrage, that we applied to, doing online arbitrage and even retail arbitrage, which was, finding stuff that sells well. And, it's a simple concept. Find stuff that sells well and then go find some stores to buy it from. And, we used to do that manually before tactical arbitrage was around. And, we'd get 1 lead from a VA every 3 or 4 hours. And, everything happens a lot faster now with tactical arbitrage. But, I always thought that there was a way that we could, apply those same ideas to wholesale, because I really, really hated, in my earlier career of using, selling on Amazon, there was always, the idea that, it was easy to do online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, but wholesale was just, so hard to do. So, through learning a lot of other techniques, and I kind of figured out through, taking other courses like the wholesale formula, and, other similar courses that, we could find products that are selling well and kind of reverse the whole process like we did. And we do every day using tactical arbitrage. So, so what I did was figure out a way to build software that we could take all those ideas, which was finding products that were already selling well, and then, finding those on Amazon and finding some way to reverse engineer a way to find places to buy those. And, it's super simple with OA. You can just compare those barcodes, but with wholesale, that's just not, something that's viable. There's not even UPCs available for some of those. But, so we kind of mixed automation like tactical arbitrage, and then, after talking to Alex, you basically told me, like, these are things that I'm never going to try and do, because we actually have a huge team who does all of this work for you. So what we've done is we look at the top 100,000 products on Amazon in 23 different categories that we all do arbitrage in. And then we go back and we ask Amazon for the brands. So we're able to count and see how many brands, how many of all the top selling brands there are, like, Lego and Hasbro or Duncan Hines or whatever the brand is, how many products are actually selling that are in the top 100,000 or have been recently. And then we actually go out and we find the contact information. And we don't go use distributors. This is all wholesale contact information we've gotten, and we actually just broke this week over 15,000 different brands after working almost 2 years on this to be to get the contact information directly. And we go out and we contact the manufacturers, or we go to the websites and we see who is their parent company and go contact them, or whatever we have to do to be able to set up wholesale accounts. We go out and get that information, and we put it all in the software for you. And then we're going to show you how we do that.
So I believe you've got 15,000.
Yeah, it's a little over 15,000 now.
15,000 different contacts information, and one of the best things about it is looking at that collection of 100,000 ASINs and finding out which have the market dominance, which brands have got the market dominance, and you can sort that in order of the number of products that are dominating that, the number of products per brand that are dominating that 100,000 ASIN space. And then, of course, you can take that information, export it from your tool, and then turn around and run the ASINs through tactical arbitrage, for instance, using reverse search tool or wholesale tool to drill down into those products deeper and find places you can buy those brands. Would you like to share your screen and show everybody this goodness?
Yeah. Okay, so
Stephen mentions, yes, it was updated a couple of days ago. That's interesting. That's for Zoom, I guess.
Yeah, Zoom has completely changed everything. So at least on the Mac version I'm on. So, okay, so we're going to share the screen and we should see. Hopefully you see my screen.
Yes, I see it. Nice and clear. You're still using a Mac. What are we going to do about that?
I actually recently switched to Mac in about a year ago. So it's a lot easier
by choice, even. Wow.
I mean, by choice. I never used one, and I just went out and bought one day, and I mean, I still have a bunch of PCs, but the Macs just seem to be easier for what I'm doing. Okay, so so what we've done is, I'm just going to touch on this because this isn't the awesome part of the software. We kind of had to do this to be able to get to the awesome stuff. So if you're a tactical arbitrage user, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, I kind of created this as, an area of stuff that, TA didn't do at the time. So I just wanted something where I could get all the top selling products so I could do reverse searches in TA, and it's kind of grown into this huge, amazing wholesale product. So you can download the top 100,000 products or even the top 500,000 ASINs from 23 different categories. In the US, you can select any of these categories, and you can download the top 100,000, you can download the top 500,000, and then all the ones you can do arbitrage in any of these 11 different platforms. But you can also download any subcategory. I know TA goes, what is it, five tiers deep. These will go really as deep as they go. So if you really want to dive deep into any categories, you can download the top 10,000 products in really any category, in any subcategory in any of the categories there are. So you can just simply click on the plus and go, as deep as it goes, and then download up to 10,000. And then you don't even have to open these files. You just hit the download button, and you can. I use them to do reverse searches and tactical arbitrage still. So I will download the top 100,000, which are already split into 25,000 lines, where you can just download them and upload them into TA, and we do that a lot. That's where the majority of our leads even come from, is running the reverse searches using these. And then obviously the different countries are going to have different amounts of categories, but it works on all of those. So, but if we want to see the good stuff, the brand information, all we have to do is select whatever main category we want, and we can go to brands, and it's going to pull up the.
So you selected toys in this case?
I'm sorry?
You selected toys?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it does take a moment to load. Everybody's interested in toys, so I just picked toys. And I'm going to put it out to 100 lines per page, just so we can see a little bit more. And it's defaulted to sort by the most amount of products. Obviously, you're going to recognize most of them: Funko, Lego, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Disney, and all of that. So What we've done is we've gone back and requested, and I don't know anybody else who's done this, but you know, we actually are counting up all the items from those brands, so we know really how much they are in that space of products that are actually selling. Because when we do a search on Amazon, it shows not even if you're in the toys category, it don't just show you products in the toys category, and it also don't show you products that sold. You know, I mean, the majority of the Amazon catalog now is those drop shippers who are uploading, you know, flat files with hundreds of thousands of products in them, and most of them never sell. So most of our searches, you know, once you start going a little bit deep, you're not going to see products that have even sold. So we're only looking at products that came from that top 100,000 products we get every day, and everything's updated every 24 hours. So we're only seeing those numbers. So everything you see here, all these numbers are actually products, the only products that have sold. So we don't have to worry about all those bulk uploads and all that probably have never sold.
And straight away, I can see there's some really interesting data there. You've got a column there that shows what percentage of the time Amazon is a seller. Is that correct?
So the Amazon column is actually the percentage of this number that we pulled of only products that have sold, and it's currently how many they are on. So Funko's on almost 50% of those products. And then we get from Keepa if the Amazon's ever been on that product. So obviously the history number is going to be the equal or higher all the time. So this is the percentage that they've ever been on out of any of those products that you see. So the 4,438 for Funko, they've only ever been on 62% of them. And then the average price is the average buy box price. So if there's no buy box, which if we look at Keepa, you know, a good majority of those have the buy box suppressed because they're, you know, $200 Funko items now because they sold out. And then the average rank is also, you know, kind of skews high on things like Funko and Lego, you know, and things that are, you know, discontinued and, you know, sometimes never even sold in the store. So, you know, the ranks skew quite high because there's a lot of those that are in the millions just because they've been, you know, discontinued and they're, you know, $200 for a $10 toy.
This is a good way to actually learn about some brands that you wouldn't otherwise think of too. For example, row number 8 there, the Ruby S brand. It's got an average price of $21 per product, and I'm not even really aware of that brand, and yet there is it's very well represented. There's 1,600 products across the 100,000 top-ranking ASINs. So there's a lot of really interesting data there. And can you tell us about that little icon there in about the row 4?
Right. So this means that we've already gotten the contact information for them. So like Mattel is, and I actually, you know, some that are just so prolific. I actually made a video about setting up an account with Mattel. It's not super hard. Like most people, you know, I don't know the guys who are making, you know, these videos, but you know, a lot of people try to tell you how hard wholesale is and how much you have to spend. You actually only have to spend $500 to have a Mattel account, and I think you have to spend $5,000 over the course of a year just to maintain it. So I actually put the link in here to do everything. I made a video walking you through all the steps to get a Mattel account. Not everybody can do it, but Mattel actually distributes for 77 different brands. So, wow. You know, like Hot Wheels, Little Tykes, most of Disney is distributed through Mattel. Obviously, there's other distributors, but they're the biggest one. Star Wars, you know, so if you wanted to get ungated in 77 different brands at one time, you could open an account and show your proof that you're, I mean, you'd have to buy something with that on the invoice, but you could get approved in all those. And they do approve online resellers too. So this is, now they they won't let you use a prep center. They won't ship to your home. There are rules, obviously. It's not something that everybody can do, but it's not so hard. So we get, as much information as we can on the brands. And the smaller the brand is, the more we can get. Because, Mattel, there's a web application. But, in a lot of these bigger companies, obviously, they're not going to have, like, call Chris whatever to set up your account. But the smaller ones that may have 10 or 15 items in their brand, they do have a specific person you can contact, and we usually get that information while we have a contact name and email there. And then you can also download all this information in a CSV. You just hit download info, and if you see something wrong, there's a button right there. It sends it to us. It's super simple. And then if you see the ones with the question marks here, all you have to do is, we don't have the information for this one yet. So obviously there are brands that you just can't become a distributor for. So if you want to request contact information, we don't make you fill out a big form or anything like that. You just click on the button. It's going to add it right to your queue, just like it says here. It adds it to your queue. It puts it in a queue for my team, and we do them in the order that people request. And then usually most of them are done within 1 working day. Some takes a little bit longer, and if that happens, you also get a notice. But as soon as we fill that, we hit the save button. It gets added to the database, and we send out an email to you with all the information that we got. So you don't even have to come back here later. You're going to get an email so you know what's going on with it, and you'll have all that contact information right in your email. But this is kind of the first step of when I do research. But if I wanted to get more information, which is what I usually do, I look at this info. I can see how much, right on this page, how much Amazon's on it, how much they've been on it, average prices, ranks, and all that. But if I want to do more research, all we have to do is you can click on one checkbox, or as many as you want, and then you hit the download button, and it's going to download, and it's that fast. Everything's basically an instant download. You're going to be able to download all that information for each one of these products from that brand. So now you can get a good look at everything from Funko that's actually selling in the toys category. And we have a link to, direct link to Keepa, direct link to the Amazon page, the information if Amazon's currently or if they've ever historically been on the listing, and then the buy box price if there is one, UPC, title, brand, ASIN, and then current 30 and 90-day ranks.
Oh, this is cool, because if there is no current price, there's a chance that there's currently nobody on the listing. Is that correct?
Well, if there's no price, that means the buy box is suppressed, because that's the buy box price.
Okay.
So,
yep.
Like I said, with the first 2 most prolific ones, which is Funko and Lego, a lot of those products, are exclusive and products that have been discontinued already. So usually those, and they, as you can see, like the top ones here have pretty high ranks, which means they're probably still selling, and the buy box is suppressed. That means they're probably selling for $100 or something.
Okay, awesome. And of course, the list of ASINs there is quite useful. You could pop that straight into a reverse search in TA.
Yeah, everything has the ASINs, and obviously, we do this a lot. Is for our own business, you can download these if you want to get all the stuff from Lego or all the stuff from any of these brands. And just in toys, there's over 30,000 brands, and realistically, and we'll run these in the reverse search, and try and find retail stores to sell them as well. But obviously, there's going to be a lot more money,
wholesale.
In wholesale usually,
Yeah.
other than nobody should set up a Lego account to sell on Amazon. They have a $25,000 a month minimum order, and you only get 15% off the retail price, and you're going to pay more than that in fees. Really, the only money in Lego is buying it and holding it until, at least until it retires. But For
setting up
us,
the wholesale accounts is the smartest thing to do with these with this information, and that's the great thing about you having that contact information right there on those little icons. One by one, you can go through and start setting up these accounts, and of course, from there you can get issued your own negotiated pricing.
And even more important than that is if somebody else is going and setting up, these wholesale accounts, and saying, "Hey, I'm selling on Amazon. I'm an Amazon seller. Can I buy from you?" Or even not telling them that, and even opening an account and then saying, these companies are tired of, just Amazon sellers, if they proclaim it or not, going in there, going through the whole process or having a VA set up an account for them. And then, they get that list and then they run it against Amazon and maybe there's nothing worth selling, maybe there is, or whatever, and they move on. So some of these have hundreds or thousands of people opening accounts every month. And it just, they just get tired of it. But what we've done and what we can do, and we have templates for cold calling these wholesale companies. We have a template introducing yourself as an Amazon seller, that you get when you sign up, as well as, a template just to open an account, that we had, that we use. So, it's tested and they really work. But what we found works really well is we already know what's selling on Amazon. The only thing we don't know about this company is what we have to pay for it. So you can already take this list and the stuff is selling. You see the ranks. You can look at the history. And what we do is we contact them and we say, "We're looking to open an account. I have a list of your products that I want to sell. And, I'm willing to make it, I'm ready to make an order today. I already know the products I want. The only variable is the pricing." And when you go to them, with something to offer them, with an order ready to be made, it makes a world of difference, other than, "Hey, I just want to start selling your stuff," which is how they feel about most people coming to them at this point. Because there's just so much of it going on. And, and I'm not looking at, opening, although we do have an account with, Funko. It's not that hard to get, but, I'm not looking to sell something that they have 4,000 out of the, they have 4% of, the top selling products and toys. I'm looking at stuff from between like 10 and 15, 10 and 25 products. Because if you look at the guys who have 1 and 2 and 5, those are usually private label sellers. And then, I don't want to compete with 100 other people on a listing, especially if I have to buy it in wholesale and advance and all that in bulk. But those, between 10 and 25, even 10 and 100, those guys are usually people who somebody did OA or RA, bought a few of their products, brought them to Amazon. And if you buy wholesale, you can get them obviously a lot cheaper. And that's really going to, get the sales going a lot more, as well as if they have 10 products that are on Amazon, then they probably have 40 or 50 products they sell, and you can bring a whole lot more into, the Amazon marketplace. So we've done both of those things, and it's made a world of difference as far as being able to open up accounts and the results that we're getting.
That's great. And you've obviously got the option at the top of this page to filter in a specific range. So let's say you just want to see people who've got 10 to 100 products. You can drill down using the filters at the top of the page, which makes it super useful.
Yeah, and you can filter the percentages of Amazon and the history and prices and rank, and you can even search for any brand that you want.
Very cool. Awesome. What else have you got to show us? What other goodies have you got in store for us here?
Okay, so
I can see the results.
The wholesale brands. So if you go to the company tab, it kind of gives you the same information, but our users wanted something where they could just look at the ones we already had information for. They don't want to do a bunch of research, or they want their VA to just open a bunch of wholesale accounts. So we built this companies tab, which will show you exactly how many this is how many companies we have wholesale contact information for. So we just broke over 15,000. And you can select the category and then see exactly how many there are in each one. And I've never gone out and, I won't say never, I've only looked for a few that maybe I wanted, but I've never gone out and you know, started looking for brands. So all of this is user driven. Every user gets a limit of 20 brands that they can request at any time. So that's like not a day or a month, but they get, as soon as we fill one, that slot opens up again. So, and most people don't use them. A lot of people, you know, use them all the time. So, you know, we can really see what people most request. And I've just always been amazed that from the very beginning, industrial and scientific is what people have requested the most. And now, you know, we have almost 4,000 that 4,000 brands that we filled just from that category.
Doesn't that tell you something though? Isn't that interesting? Because a lot of people, when they first get started, they think, oh, I've got to sell toys on Amazon. But a lot of the guys who've been around for a while, who know wholesale and know the wholesale place, and they can really see the value in this tool, they're requesting things like industrial and scientific because they know where the margins are, and they know, you know, they know where to get in with those guys. And it isn't really a go-to category for a lot of people, but it is one of those things where you can go and buy these small beakers and things for you know, $5 that will sell for like $25 over on Amazon. So there's good margins. And industrial and scientific obviously covers a lot of different things, including 3D printing and, you know, a lot of different subcategories. But yeah, I think it's interesting that the people that are utilizing this tool the most are looking at categories that you may not knee-jerk go for.
Yeah, and what most people don't know about, because it used to be a gated category, BISS, which is actually business, industrial, and scientific. And a lot of people use that in the past to stop people who weren't gated in it. And beyond that, they use, it's for a lot of bulk products. So, you know, if there may be, you know, some paper towels in home, there might be a case of 8 or a case of 12 or, you know, whole cases of, you know, hand soap or dish soap in there. So you can, if you're selling in that category, you can really sell in bulk a lot easier. And if that's something you're interested in doing, then, you know, BISS is really the way to go.
Nice.
So I'm going to select toys, and we'll see a lot of the same information, except the phone numbers will be here. And if you see the zeros, it's not just because we don't have the information. It's because, you know, they don't offer that information. So some places don't have phone numbers, but that's kind of how our system works, where we have to have a phone number. So we put that in there, but, you know, there's still going to be, you know, a lot of times when there's no, they don't give out a phone number, but they have a web link, or they want you to sign up via email, and whatever we figure out, and that's what we'll do. Like Fisher Price, for example, is another one that's owned by Hasbro, so or Mattel. So you have to they won't let you sign up over the phone. Obviously, there's a lot of forms and applications, so those bigger companies rarely let you call to set up an account. But, you know, on the other hand, a lot of other manufacturers will require you to call on the phone. So, you know, usually it's one of those three things: either phone, email, or over the website. And usually they don't want you to do the other things. And you get the same information here. You know, you can click on the same icon, get the same information, but we have the phone numbers, and you can even download all their products just like you did in the brand sector. It's just a more streamlined way to do it if you don't want to see all the stuff that's not available.
Nice.
So the next thing we've done, and probably the most, obviously the most in-depth thing we have, is the ASIN deep dive. And one second, I'm just going to grab an ASIN here again.
I might have one for you actually. I'll just might put one in the chat there.
Oh, that'll work. Yeah, even better.
Yeah, I'll just
I had
grab one.
Then
How about? Here we go. Let's go with try this one.
Cool. Something random, awesome. And again, this works in any of these platforms. 11 different countries. So whatever country you have the ASINs, it's going to work in. So we've kind of gone and we used a lot of tools to get information, on products, but there wasn't like one way to get, all of this information in one place. So we kind of went out and tried to figure out the most amount of info we could get. So we got all the pictures, obviously titles, descriptions, and then you're able to get the contact information just by clicking on the little icon there next to their brand. So we have their brand, we have the contact information, and you can even download all the products that they have right here from this page. So you don't have to go back to the brands, go back anywhere else. So we have the brand, and then we have the manufacturer, which is not quite the same information. And then obviously buy box price, if it's suppressed, if it's a pre-order item or not, and then who holds the buy box. So it'll show you right here if Amazon's holding the buy box or if an FBA seller is holding the buy box. A quick chart for Keepa, obviously, and then a lot of this stuff, like if you have books or other kind of media, you have labels and studios and publishers may be different, but with more physical products, they're the same a lot. But if the information's hazmat, if the item's hazmat, if there's color variations, super saver shipping, subscribe and save, if it's an add-on item, and then all of your package information in millimeters, inches, feet, weight, the stock per condition for FBM, how many items there are, if it's a multi-pack. And also the buy box seller history. This one looks like it's only sold by Amazon, but however many there are. Also the frequently bought together information that you see on the Amazon page, which will be, the ads to go to something else. Anything that it's put in there recently, it's going to show you there as well. And then you can click on that and it's going to bring all that up into a new window.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, interesting.
As well, there it'll show you, and then you can just
perfect for, of course, working out if you want to create any bundles. If you see a couple of things that are frequently bought together, you can utilize this as a bundling advice type tool as well.
Another good thing is any matching UPCs. So if it can take the ASIN and track back any other UPCs, which I'm sure if you've ever done any retail arbitrage, when you scan one UPC, it might show you 10 ASINs that it's tied to. We also go out and search for any other UPCs that's going to match that ASIN. So you may possibly be able to find multiple listings, for that product. These are like books and toys. So there's only, it seems like there's only one for each one of those. But
having this kind of information open on the page when you're speaking to wholesalers as well makes that ASIN deep dive tool incredibly useful. Just to let the manufacturers know that exactly what you're talking about and have some kind of intellectual conversation about what it is that they're selling, rather than, as you say, just going in blind and saying, I'm just interested in selling your products. It helps you to sort of drill down into demonstrating some actual care for their range, which is cool, very cool.
Definitely, definitely. And then, excuse me. And then if we had actually something with seller history, let me just grab, I had all these saved and then my window kind of crashed. I think these are all just, it's like Amazon doesn't ever give up the buy box, so they're the only FBA sellers. So let's see.
You want something with a few sellers on it, really?
Yeah, got that right there. There we go.
This is those Picasso.
And you can also enter UPCs. So, so here's one that has some multiple sellers. So the newest is at the bottom, but you can see all the multiple sellers that that have been on this listing all the way back to 2016 on this one. And you can even download the contents of those seller stores, but by just hitting the download button, or you can subscribe and then get daily updates of all the new products that any of these competing stores are. So if you were to enter any of your own listings, you could see what your competition is doing right here from the same page by just hitting the download button.
And then of course you can reverse search that.
Right. You know, so similar to, you know, what you're doing with like Storefront Stalker Pro, but we've kind of integrated that right into here where you can download the contents of that. It'll download all the ASINs your competitors doing. You can even, as I said, subscribe, so you'll get a new one every day, or whenever that store adds anything new.
Very nice, Shawn. This is a comprehensive tool and extremely useful for anybody who's interested in the wholesale game, or anybody who currently is selling on wholesale. And I guess the big question is, what's the monthly cost on this? It certainly does a lot.
Yes, definitely. So usually we sell it for $19.97 a year, but obviously for you know, because of tactical arbitrage, and we sell for $197 a month. But I've gone ahead and I've got to reshare my screen. I'm sorry, but so what we've done is I kind of split that price in half. So what we can do is $97 a month. And let me just share my screen and I'll show you. Sorry, all my pages kind of crashed. So you can get all the information at, it won't let me share my screen.
Yeah, I've got the link to stick into the chat.
Yeah, Valerie is there. She should have posted that. But you can go to sourcingsecret.com and get all the information on it and sign up tonight. So what I've done is we're usually selling for $9.97 a month. I'm sorry, $9.97 a year or $197 a month. And I've actually never sold it for less than $197 a month. So this is the first time we've ever done this, is do the $97 a month, and we're going to leave that price till up till Sunday. And if you do opt for the, and I do have you know, one-on-one live demos. If you want to try any special searches or you have other questions, you can click on that right on the page and set up you know, a free call with me. And what we've done is if you do get the year, obviously you're still going to save about 2 months. You get 2 months free, and we've put together about $1,300 in bonuses. I know we gave out the $197 toy directory to the people who donated to the GoFundMe, but we're giving each one of our directories. We sell them for $197, which is similar to the kind of products. I have another team where we just go out and get those deals. So with the wholesale directory, we have about 8,200 products that we found that are good sellers in wholesale, still under 100,000, and we went out and got those, and we give those to you in a spreadsheet. And the same with grocery, home, and baby, and we sell all those for $197 each. We also have a T-shirt like the one I'm wearing, if you didn't see it, and we made a wholesale sourcing notebook, so for when we're going out.
Hey, I want one of those T-shirts. You got to shoot me one of those T-shirts.
Yeah, I'll send you one over. They're on Amazon, so they're hard to send to people out of the country, but I got a bunch of them. I'll send you one. And we also made an advanced sourcing notebook, is what I call it. So it's basically a notebook that we designed the inside so we could make better notes, and really is what I use myself, and we just made it available to sell as well. So we give you one of those, and then we have basically a master course that I don't even have on here. You know, if it was Russell Brunson, he'd say it was worth about $4,000. But you know, it's in-depth training on using the software. We do webinars every week or two. You know, and just like tactical arbitrage, we're adding new features, you know, every day or two, it seems like we're doing.